Forbes India and Indeed present Top 30 Talent Leaders of 2024.
Hi, I'm Ritesh. Fun fact, Ritesh literally means the Lord of all seasons. But after spending 2 decades in the talent domain, I can't even claim to have seen them all, let alone master them. Throughout my journey so far, I have helped several organizations of all sizes set up and scale their operations across the talent landscape, but especially in the shared services and GCC landscape. My current stint is with the global telecom giant BT, where I've been for the last 9 years, believe it or not. And I've had the opportunity to try multiple roles both within country and globally. In my current role, I lead the talent acquisition function for all of India. I'm a postgraduate in HR from XLR in Jamshedpur, and I live in the city of joy, Kolkata, with my parents, spouse, and my teenage son. Outside of work, I love to cook, travel, and read. Well, if I'm completely honest, it was not really by choice when I actually started. I really hope my boss does not see this. Actually, I wanted to pursue a career in finance. I even did my CA intern, but somehow family circumstances did not really kind of allowed me to kind of pursue my finance ambitions. And it's actually quite funny, actually how I got into HR. Uh, at the time that I started my career, there used to be very few opportunities. So I actually started working for a friend's relative who had started a new venture where I was like, the karta dharta of everything. I was a one-man army. And one of these days, I just went to another organization to do business development, to find business, where they mentioned that they only do business with one company. We were in the space of supplying manpower. And I got very intrigued by this company, and I went over there as a spy literally to understand what is it that they do which is so special. And that actually became my fascination for a career in human resource when I got to understand, and that company's name was Mafa, which actually became my first real job. And they liked me so much and I liked them so much that we ended up working for each other kinds, and I ended up joining there as an associate, and that started my HR career. And then over a period of time, I kind of evolved into this and eased into a career in HR. So it happened quite by accident, but a happy accident, no regrets. And the funny thing is that a lot of people that I talk to actually admit to being in HR by accident. So I'm not alone. I take a lot of rejoice in that. I think one of the first highlights, and I think I've been very lucky that way, is when I joined this company, Martha. I honestly wasn't a recruiter. I did not know the A's and B's of recruitment. But the one thing that I did very well was, actually be very responsive, answer calls, and really kind of hear people. I think I did that very well. What that made me do was, in the first month of my joining, there was a role going on in the organization for a very premium customer of ours, who was not even my customer, and they were looking for a head of actuarials. Actuarials at that point in time used to be a very, very niche skill, and they were looking for a head of actuarials. And I just happened to pick up the phone, and somebody was actually looking for a job in a similar role. And to cut a long story short, that one phone call actually changed my life, because I got talking to that person, and that person actually ended up being placed as head of actuarials, and that became one of the highest billings in the organization ever, and put me on the map in my first or second month. So that was one key highlight at the beginning of my career. But if you were to ask me for my personal highlight, I think for me that has been the change in people and organizations' perceptions about Bengal and Kolkata. When I started recruitment, I noticed that a lot of companies used to actually come here for hiring, but recruit them for locations outside Calcutta. And there was a huge export of real good talent. And I thought, why? Why is it that these companies can't set up shop here instead? And I've always believed in the potential of this place, and not just because it's my birthplace and I work here, but I think because Bengal and Kolkata have such untapped potential. I mean, I understand that our brush with, communism and socialism has done us some damage in terms of our reputation and image. But I think we've come a long way since then. This place really used to be the commercial hub of India, and at one point in time, the second most important city of the British Empire after London. So I mean, I've actually had a leader, who who told me that Calcutta hub will only get built over a dead body. Uh, but happy to say that I was able to influence and prevail. And today, not only is that hub flourishing, but so is the leader. Yeah. And I think today a lot of organizations have started to realize and believe in Kolkata and its potential. And I think it gives me immense personal pride and personal satisfaction to have played, you know, whatever small role that I have in this change. And I think that's my personal highlight of my journey so far. I think the impact of technology in talent attraction's future makes me both very nervous, skeptical, and very excited at the same time. I mean, just look at how today you can use technology at every stage of the recruitment cycle, right from creating job descriptions to, to scanning multiple channels to finding relevant profiles to running really laser sharp, focused, and very targeted campaigns on social media for very specific target pools to screening profiles, scheduling, assessments, and not just that, even delivering super hyper personalized experiences. Tech is there everywhere. I think the technology of the future will be capable of completely replacing the talent acquisition teams of today. What this leaves us is with probably two dilemmas, the way I see it. I think first dilemma is going to be for organizations, where I think they will have to answer what is the balance between high tech and high touch, and what do they want, and what is the kind of experience they want to create for their candidates and managers and their own teams. And the second dilemma is going to be for the TA teams of today, the way that they operate today. The question for them is going to be what role do they want to play in the future and what do they want to do tomorrow, which basically means how do they really go up the value chain, because the jobs that they do today are definitely not going to be there tomorrow. So the real question is, how do you upskill yourself? And I think that's the real impact of technology. I think one example, and not just one. I mean, there's been one specific case which came to me where I literally inherited a team. I went on to a new role and I inherited a team where there was one person in the team who was perceived to be extremely difficult. And I was instantly advised by my line manager to kind of let her go as soon as possible because she would kind of become a problem child. In fact, she was seen as a problem child and nobody was being able to manage her. And I was absolutely advised, that just let go of her as soon as possible. She's beyond redemption and all of that. I've always been a true believer of the fact that, there are no real difficult people. There are only people with difficulties. And as long as you can understand those difficulties, I think everyone can become a good performer. And I think as especially as people of the HR community, I think we have an inherent responsibility to bring out the best in people. And in this case as well, I did not let go. I actually did a lot of counseling with that one person and really understood what the situation was. It took me a bit of time, but I'm glad to kind of, I'm very proud of the fact that she actually went on to become one of my best performers ever. And those are the kind of turnarounds which really kind of make you proud. And that I think also kind of gave a lot of credence to the fact when I went to my management and told them that you can't give up on people like this. It is not people. I think it is the environment you create around them which has to be changed. It is the easiest thing to go and change people, but organizations should invest in their people and create the right ecosystems. And I think that kind of changed the perception of the leaders that I at least interacted with in the way that they viewed talent management. So that was one big, one example of how it led to a change. I think one more that I would like to quote is a way that the function that I manage today is viewed by all stakeholders. Yeah, I mean, talent acquisition as a function largely is seen as a I'm sad to say, but more as a poor cousin of HR. It is seen as a very tactical function, and I don't really blame stakeholders or people who come in touch with us for this. I think we ourselves as a function are to blame. I think we do a lot of disservice to our function. I think we are so obsessed with just closing a role that we tend to forget that we are also part of the HR community. And that is something that at least I think I've managed to change to some extent. By really showing the value that that TA as a function can bring to the table by becoming strategic partners and deliver a high value, high quality, high touch service. So I think that's a constant thing that I drive, and I think my request will be for all my TA colleagues and all my HR colleagues to realize the full potential of talent acquisition. I think my advice to any aspiring, anybody aspiring for a career in HR and talent management, I think keep an open mind and believe in the inherent goodness of people, and focus on either being a part of or building brilliant teams and creating great experiences. I think as long as you do that, you will be successful in HR and talent management.
Forbes India and Indeed present Top 30 Talent Leaders of 2024.